Buses are our lifeline.
Wherever accessible buses are, it's no good if we can't reach them. And buses are our lifeline to work, to social life, to inclusion.
You shouldn't be able to carry people from place to place if you haven't got the facilities to ensure everybody can get safely on and off the train or plane or whatever it may be.
Article 9 of the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities is all about accessibility, which states appropriate measures should be taken to ensure people with disabilities can access the physical environment and transportation on an equal basis, and that all obstacles and barriers to accessibility are identified and eliminated. However, over the past 10 years, cycle lanes have been introduced which have brought about significant changes to bus stops which have turned them into dangerous, chaotic and inaccessible spaces and places for blind, deaf-blind and visually impaired people to navigate independently. Cycle lanes have been routed on the pavement behind and in front of the bus stops where pedestrians have to cross or step into a cycle lane to get on and off the bus. In 2014, a report was published called Off-Street Trials of a Bus Stop Bypass, an assessment of user perceptions, safety, capacity and accessibility produced for Transport for London reported that the majority of blind and partially sighted participants stated that they would be deterred from using buses on routes where there were bus stops with a cycle bypass track. Fast forward 10 years and it is very clear that blind people have been significantly impacted by these new designs, and the situation is getting worse, with more schemes being planned, funded and built. Shared use bus borders are where bus passengers are expected to step directly into a live cycle lane to board and alight from the bus.
Hey.
The NFB UK have visited these designs in Walthamstow in London.
So we're actually stepping out into a cycle lane. Oh my god, that's terrible. That's shocking. Shocking.
We're on the cycle lane at the moment, aren't we?
We're just on the pavement part here.
Now this is interesting because the demarcation between the cycle lane and the pavement is perfect.
So they're expecting you just literally to step out into the cycle lane.
It really is extremely dangerous.
Andrew?
Not fit for purpose. It really is totally inaccessible. These sort of designs need to be scrapped. Those that have been installed need to be halted, need to be taken out, and there need to be no new ones.
Then there are the bus stop bypasses, where the cycle track runs behind the bus shelter, sandwiched in between the island and the pavement. People waiting for the bus, apart from watching their step getting on and off the bus, they first have got to cross a cycle track. If they get off the bus, they think their journey is over, but no, it's not, because they then have to negotiate the cycle track. Menace cyclists go through at speed, with no intention of stopping. And Sport for London TfL reported that very few injuries were happening at these bus stops, with just 4 making the official casualty figures over a 3-year period from 2020 to 2022. However, TfL had to amend their report as they missed 2 further injuries which occurred in Balham that the NFB UK found on crash map. The NFB UK do not believe this is what is actually happening on these cycle lanes at bus stops, as we have filmed 4 cyclist pedestrian collisions on floating bus stops just this year, with 3 filmed in less than 1 week, and 2 of them were on the same day. The first happened opposite St Thomas's Hospital on the 29th of April, 2024, where a speeding cyclist knocked a pensioner flying on the floating bus stop. The second happened on the 30th of September, 2024, on Elephant and Castle floating bus stop, where a lime e-bike rider ran over a child on the cycle lane. The third happened on the 30th of September, 2024 again on the floating bus stop opposite St. Thomas's Hospital. The fourth one happened on the 3rd of October, 2024 again at the same location where a speeding cyclist crashed into a pedestrian who had been taking photos.
Absolutely bonkers. How anybody's supposed to be safe on this bus stop is just crazy.
Am I in a cycle lane?
You're in the cycle lane now.
Is this where I get on the bus?
Yeah.
If I go back,
You're straight into the cycle lane. So Kevin, what do you think of this bus stop here?
it's absolutely useless. And if I was on my own, I just wouldn't use it. I mean, if this is regarded as the B network, which is supposed to be wonderful, to me it's totally inaccessible, and therefore, as far as I'm concerned, totally and absolutely unfit for purpose. They need to come back and redesign the whole thing. Otherwise, as far as I'm concerned, the B network is a failure right across Manchester. I should say Greater Manchester.
Visits were made back to Oxford Road and the Curry Mile, where it was clear the designs of the floating bus stops were not safe or accessible for blind and disabled people, and were dangerous for all pedestrians. London's People's Question Time, Redbridge, 2nd November 2022.
Question concerns the new side roads. As a severely visually impaired person, I'm not finding it difficult to travel on the bus because when I get off the bus, I'm getting up to the traffic light to my side road and it's not safe. Do you plan to build more or redesign them because it just is not safe for visually impaired people? That's all.
In relation to the lady in the third row who's visually impaired and is troubled by the cycle lanes. What's really important is that those who are visually impaired are properly consulted. What needs to happen before a cycle lane goes in is an impact assessment is done, because we've got to make sure that visually impaired people aren't being disadvantaged.
Just literally got off the bus, straight onto the pavement. Explain that feeling to me.
Well, it's a lot easier. I don't have to worry whether I'm on the right. Well, I don't need to worry because then I'm stepping off the bus straight onto the pavement. The statement from the mayor that to him and TfL every journey matters. Well, I dispute that because I can't make the journeys. Not if I have to get off somewhere where there's a cycle lane. So I only go out if it's absolutely necessary, and that's how I feel. My independence is being eroded bit by bit.
Why is this bus stop so good?
Bus pulls up. They see my cane and they stop right beside me so I can get on the bus.
I'm lost for words. This is disgusting. This does not work. There's no pavement. There's nothing to keep me safe, nothing to keep Nellie safe. There's nowhere I'd use it. No way.
And they're calling this a backless bus stop, but actually we've got a new name for it, haven't we?
Yes, it's called a pavementless bus stop.
How would you navigate a place like this, Sarah?
I wouldn't be able to navigate it. It's so disorientated. I wouldn't know if I'm in the road, what direction I'm going in. It would be no good for me or for Nellie or any guide dog or blind or visually impaired person.
And there is literally no pavement on this part?
No, there is no pavement whatsoever, and whoever come up with this scheme was not thinking about safety, accessibility for anybody. How is it you're supposed to get on the bus safely? It's just ridiculous, it's horrendous, it's dangerous, and all of the words rolled into one that I can't really think of at the minute because I'm totally speechless at this design and how they've put it in, and there's nowhere I could navigate it, nowhere I could get on the bus. Unless somebody's with me that's able to guide me or to assist me, there's nowhere I'd come here and use this bus stop or this area.
Careful.
This simply doesn't work, does it, Andrew?
No, I mean the whole infrastructure is is madness. It doesn't work for visually impaired people, and that's what we want to highlight. I wouldn't be confident in using this environment around here at all. I mean, particularly the bus stop is just part of a really badly installed area. Always assume you get off the bus stop. You don't know where you'd go from there anyway. Getting to this area, unless you were being met by a sighted person, would be almost totally pointless. The more you go into this issue, the more you find that the whole way that the environment is being installed at present is just, it's almost a free-for-all.
What is the most shocking and saddening part of the whole story is that in January 2018, a British Standard 8300-1 2018 design of an accessible and inclusive built environment was published, which we did not know about. Section 6.2 is on bus stops. Bus stops should conveniently serve key facilities and services by being located within a reasonable walking distance. They should be adjacent to, but not obstructing, pedestrian routes, and pedestrians should have access to and from the bus stop without crossing cycle routes, including where these run between the pedestrian route and the vehicle carriageway. This British standard echoes the concerns being raised since 2014 by blind and partially sighted people and has been ignored by all involved in the rollout of active travel schemes, including in the new Bus Services Act 2025.
It's International White Cane Safety Day 2025, and we're here to hand a petition in to Heidi Alexander. David, what's your message to Heidi Alexander?
Well, I think it's a scandal that all this Department of Transport does not advise the politicians that there's a standard which demands that buses pull up to the curb so that pedestrians, all pedestrians, as well as people like me with a disability, I'm blind and I've got a guide dog, and I don't want to risk stepping into a cycle lane. And the British standard makes that clear, that pedestrians should not have to negotiate cycle lanes. And we've got a lot of civil servants highly paid to advise ministers, and they just haven't done it. It's a real scandal. This standard, which has been worked on over many years and improved and recognises the rights of pedestrians and disabled people to get on a bus without impediment, and it should be the law. And all these local councils should modify their expectations of bus companies, and the bus should pull up to the curb. Simple.
Stuart, what's your message to the Prime Minister?
BS 8300-1 says pedestrians should not have to cross cycle lanes to access bus stops, because floating bus stops are a danger to blind and disabled people. We want the bus services bill aligned with the BS which exists to keep us all safe. BS draws on the experience of hosting the 2012 Paralympic Games. We should not discard this knowledge. The new statutory guidance published by Active Travel England on floating bus stops provision and design on the 26th of January, 2026, does not address concerns raised by blind and partially sighted people and has ignored the British standards guidance given on this issue, allowing designs like these to be built in England.
They're taking people's independence away, and it is not right.